a hadith. Hadith means a saying by Muhammad, where he ordered Muslims to kill Jews wherever you find them. And even if they hide behind a rock and a tree, the rock and the tree will tell the Muslims, "O Muslim, O servant of Allah, here's a Jew behind me," and kill him.
But is it only Jews that these terrorists are looking to kill?
No, the terrorists are looking to kill anybody who's not a Muslim.
Why?
But because they want to bring Islam to the whole world by force, by the force of jihad. Unfortunately, the Jewish people are the first
target
tribe that stood to Muhammad and refused to convert to Islam. And that's why the Jews are almost number one. Why? Because in the 7th century in Arabia, there were many Jewish tribes. And Muhammad was telling them, I am the
so
other
good
part.
Muslims.
They are the honest ones. The ones who are not honest are the ones who are saying, no, we only hate Jews because of Israel. It was created in 1948. Well, what about the hadith that ordered them to kill Jews wherever you find them, and that happened before the 7th.
Do you think the creation of a Palestinian state would, how would it affect the jihad?
The issue is not land over Palestine. That's the lie.
It's not a land dispute.
That's a land dispute. This is a religious holy war against any nation that rules itself that's not under Islamic leadership. And the closest nation that is not Muslim nation in the Middle East, what's the closest one? It's Israel.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. And until Muslims face that truth,
until they admit it,
and they admit it to the world, instead of playing games and killing all these innocent people, we must face really our problems, our internal problems. We must look within.
Actually, I'm reminded of Hajj. Yes.
My next book coming January 6th. We'll say the whole thing.
When's it coming?
January 6th.
What's it called?
Cruel and Usual Punishment.
Cruel and Usual.
Very good title.
And Usual Punishment. The terrifying global implications of Sharia law.
You have to be very careful. You're going to need bodyguards at all times, I'm afraid.
There's too many of us now.
No, but she's brave, and she's brave, unfortunately. Yeah. There are going to be lots of people.
Let me tell you, the day they kill me, that is the same day that they're going to do what happened in India. They won't kill one person. They're going to go to synagogues, they're going to go to restaurants, they're going to go to hotels, they're going to go to New York. I'll be one of many, many, many.
What are you saying with that? That they're going to cover it up? They're going to try to cover it up?
No, they're not. They don't aim me.
Oh, yes.
Their main objective is to rule the world and destroy Israel, kill as many Jews as possible.
Right. I'm reminded of Hajj Amin al-Husseini, who joined up with Hitler during World War II, when there was no Israel, and actually the extermination of the Jews was going on a grand scale, and he happily joined with Hitler, and he had sent his best men to fight in the Ustashis. So where was Israel then? And he was a Muslim.
There was no Israel.
Exactly. So that's one of the examples of Muslim duplicity and lies. Unfortunately.
You say?
The American people in general, whether they're Christian or Jews, Muslims, believe that Muslim people have the right to practice even jihad, because this is religious freedom. But the line that is being crossed by Islam is that jihad violates the human rights of others in the violence of jihad. So how can we accept the violence of jihad to pass as a religious right? This is the point where Islam has violated, or the people who believe in violent jihad violated the side what it's called religion, and moved into a side of tyranny.
Are you suggesting that jihad does not mean an inner spiritual struggle?
No. Actually, according to Sharia law and literature, Islamic books, the that's taught in the Middle East everywhere. It is also in the book Reliance of the Traveler, which is a mainstream Sharia Islamic book. The word jihad means a holy war against non-believers for the sake of Islam.
Were you trained in Islam for many years?
Oh,
Do you
absolutely.
have a lot of,
I was a Muslim all my life.
You learned some of the books, you studied the
Yes.
books.
Reliance of the Traveler. Open the book, Reliance of the Traveler. Look at the index jihad definition, and you will read it.
And do you think it would be acceptable for the general public to call for an examination, to
That's
challenge?
coming in my book. My next book comes out January 6th. In the last chapter, I make a demand that there is nobody safe anymore in the world, and American citizens must demand protection from Muslim books that call for jihad, calling for the killing of apostates, calling for the killing of Jews, because nobody is safe in America anymore.
Only America?
I'm talking about America. Of course, nobody's safe in the world from the jihad. But we live in America, and we must demand protection from our government, because there are books, Muslim books, sold and bought in America that call for Muslims to kill the non-believers, to kill apostates. And these books are being read by young Muslim people in the West, calling on killing people who leave Islam, calling on killing Jews. All the Sharia books have orders to do jihad. Actually, jihad is not just the duty of an individual Muslim. Jihad is the duty of the Muslim head of state. It's dictated in the Sharia books. A Muslim head of state who abandons his duty to do jihad, he becomes an apostate. And that's why Sadat was killed, because by signing his peace treaty with Israel, he has abandoned his duty to do jihad with Israel. And that's why he was called an apostate, and he was condemned to death.
So what would you call on the Western world to
expose this? Well, there's a lot of people now in Arabic producing Arab TV, going to the Arab world, discussing what I'm just talking about now. The West is behind the curve. You have to go, the Western media must keep up with Arab media from outside the Arab world who are addressing the Muslim world, exposing all of that. And Western media is still reluctant. They think they are being politically correct and compassionate. I don't believe that tolerating intolerance is compassionate. I think tolerating intolerance is gross negligence.
Let me ask you something. In view of Obama, who himself is an apostate apparently, because he was a Muslim until the age of 6 for sure, and possibly even longer, how do you see your situation as an apostate in Muslim eyes, and Obama also being an apostate? Where do you see the future as far as that particular issue, considering the president-elect might be in the exact situation that you are?
I believe Obama, he was going to be tested by the Muslim radicals in the Middle East. They're going to push him and see how far he will go. And if he doesn't satisfy their demands, they're going to flip against him immediately and call him an apostate. And that's my prediction.
So he's basically a very weak link here. His life is in danger.
Not necessarily, because I don't know how he's going to react. He might be very strong. I don't know anything about Obama. He hasn't shown us yet what he will do actually in action. Words are easy. We can all give beautiful speeches and say we're for peace, but you can judge a man only in time of crisis. Let's say if he was the head of India, what was he going to do? So we will wait and see what Obama will do.
Very nice.
This is your holy area? No, it's not. And we're going to build a mosque on top of it. So we deprive you. Only Islam will rule in the whole world. And that's why they built that mosque. And that's why they attribute it to Muhammad, to make it on purpose sacred. So they deprive the Jewish people of their holy land.
Do you think
and that absolutely, that mosque has nothing to do with holy anything a Muslim.
What is the source for what you're saying? That they have no connection at all to Jerusalem, and the story about the Burak of Muhammad is a fantasy.
Of course,
created.
it's a fantasy.
What is the source of your claim?
Email me and I'll give you the source. It's a fantasy, of course. First of all, I'll tell you why. Because he never mentioned Jerusalem about Isra wa Mi'raj.
Right.
Isra wa Mi'raj was at the city at the end of the world. He never said Jerusalem. That interpretation of Jerusalem happened when they built the mosque in order to put their feet in and end Judaism and end Christianity and end any religion in the area. And they succeeded.
And what about
they succeeded for 1,400 years.
And what about the claim that Abraham sacrificed his son Ishmael? Wasn't it in Jerusalem? Because according to the Torah tradition and what is written in the Holy Book, Isaac was going to be sacrificed by Abraham, and they took over that story.
Muhammad wanted to show that he's legitimate at the beginning. He had to find the story to connect to a true religion. He wanted to become in the line of the Abrahamic religion. So he concocted this story about Ishmael.
So it's already since the 7th century. This is an old story.
First of all, let me tell you something. Muslims never discuss Abraham, never discuss Ishmael, never discuss Jews. They only discuss Muhammad and Allah, and that's it.
I understand. Well, my feeling about you, Nonie, is that you are what we call a righteous Gentile. And we all say about righteous Gentiles that they have a portion in the world to come. So I hope that after 120 years of life, you will have your deserved portion in the world to come. But until 120 years...
By the way, is it decent for a religion to go in the holiest place of another religion and build their mosque on top of it? Is it decent? Is this decent?
For them.
There are many who are following, and a lot of people in the West don't know. There are TV shows in Arabic addressed to the Arab world that is discussing all these taboo topics in Arabic. Go to the website called islamexplained.com. They have a TV show on the not just on the internet. It's a TV satellite dish shows, and it's in Arabic, and they discuss Al-Isra al-Mi'raj, the journey of Muhammad. They discuss all of that, and because you were asking me about it, they have proved beyond any doubt that this was not true. It was probably a dream, and it has nothing to do with Jerusalem.
And so, what would you say to the news directors of Channel 4 or ABC or CNN who choose to listen to ISNA and MPAC and CARE? What would you say to them
you're not doing the American public a service by pretending we don't have a problem. Because by pretending we don't have a problem from radical Islam, you are putting the lives of American citizens, the Jewish people, the good and peace-loving Americans in jeopardy. And that's the problem they did before 9/11. They never talked about the threat. And all of a sudden, the American people wake up one day and say, what is this? What did we do?
True, but even someone like George Bush, who is considered a right-winger, claims that Islam is actually a religion of peace who's been perverted by extremists.
Unfortunately, politicians have to be diplomatic. President Bush met with some Muslims after 9/11, and they told him Islam is a religion of peace. And it's what is he going to do? It's 1.2 billion people. The world is just suddenly woke up. 1/3 of the world. It was like the sleeping giant, and now the world is getting smaller and smaller. There is people are traveling much more, so the terrorists now are in the other side. Before, terrorism was confined to the Middle East and to Israel. And now it's all over the world. And the West is in shock. They have not woken up yet.
Are you suggesting that the West ought to press for transparency?
The West, number one, must not muzzle any freedom of speech. I feel that Western media has called many people Islamophobes when they were not. They called many people Islamic haters when they were not. And they were simply and merely stating facts and going with the example of history. So to judge any ideology, whether it's a religion or a political ideology or even atheism, we have to judge it from what it preaches, from its books, and from its historical contributions. And unfortunately, if we judge Islam by the history, it's full of violent jihad. Its books, Muslim scriptures are full. You can't avoid it. It's in the thousands. It's not just one or two lines. It's in the thousands, ordering Muslims to kill non-Muslims in jihad or have them live under Muslim authority, paying extra taxes. That's the only way a non-Muslim can survive the death from jihad, is to accept being a second-class citizen and living under Muslim authority. And that is why Israel defies this. Israel is not living under Muslim authority. Israel is living under its own authority.
Is that the goal?
The goal,
yes,
the goal of the Arab-Israeli conflict is that the Jews of Israel must live under Muslim authority. And that's why many of them now are calling for a one-state solution. They say, let's have a one-state solution, and that's why we all live happily in this area called Israel. And then suddenly, like Lebanon used to be a majority Christian nation, and suddenly with birth rate and with violence, the numbers of Muslims